He said, I know you'll understand it. All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll get started. Wards, proclamations, and appointments. Proclamation for Thelma Rush, and I understand this was requested by the senior center and 99 years old, and
Yes.
so that'll be a nice
Supposed
one.
to have a lot of history
Yep.
in Mount Pleasant.
Mayor's Appointment Communication Committee, and Mike, I saw yours come through. I've got one name. If y'all don't mind, please try to get that.
I got
back.
2.
Okay, cool.
I sent mine to Philip.
I sent it on to Teresa.
Teresa's got a few names collected for you too.
I got one left to add, so we'll get that done. Mayor's Appointment, Mount Pleasant Power System, that'll be Henley Edwards. Again, Henley's been
It's a good one.
he's a good one, isn't he? Lucky to keep him. Completion review of any unfinished business from prior meeting. Monthly financial budget reports, you'll take care of that, Shipper? Is that when you're gonna talk?
The bid is.
Oh, it's down there in G, I'm sorry, I see it.
It's gonna be its own.
Reports from city manager.
Two things now, and I'll have a lengthy one Tuesday night, but I failed, it's my fault, I missed the rezoning from the planning commission the other night, so it'll be on there, and it's the John King property, rezoning just an acre back to highway commercial that was residential for commercial development there. And then the second thing I talked to Corey about, we get a lot of good news sometimes, but we get donation from the Boys and Girls Club to put a canopy structure at the community center around the splash pad. It's they got a grant, they're donating to us, and it's professionally installed. And Corey, we'll look at it and see if it needs to be a resolution or just an action item, or just, we don't know yet.
That's cool.
But it'll be in your packet so you can see the design
Anything else, Philip?
for now.
All right. Wastewater.
We'll talk more about it in a minute about the change order, and then I've got more for Tuesday night.
Okay. Anything on gas?
I'll have a gas report, and you'll be in your packet. We had an inspection of the Soho system. They come back good, so you'll have it in your packet when we talk about it Tuesday.
No findings. It's nice. All right. 8, new business. A, resolution 2025-4. I understand that's gonna be pulled.
Yep, well, again, hopefully it'll be on April.
Okay. Resolution 2025-9, resolution revising the employee comp plan for the city.
If you guys want me to, I can put it up there. It'll be in your packet, and I've got the bullet points on it. It's totally up to you. You want to do it tonight?
Yeah, just
So Haywood's putting it on the screen now.
Do you have a microphone when he hear what you're saying? He just.
He just knows it somehow.
You can hear it.
Yeah, he can hear my loud voice. Lori.
And I absolutely cannot see that.
They're right behind you.
Okay. All right. So the reason for this, and you've seen it every year, we started this back in 2018 and then updated it every year. So basically, this is for the 4% cost of living across the board that we're doing. Shipra has put some bullet points on there, positions not filled,
Stars, yeah.
stars. So we can go through these if you want to. It's totally up to you, but it'll be in your packet. If you got any questions, call me, or we can talk about it Tuesday.
Yeah, I'd rather get a look at it, but it's 4% across the board.
And in the
yeah,
packet,
okay.
you'll have my bullet points in there too, to explain everything. So
And this is just the comp plan that explains like what each salary or what each position's cap is, right?
Yep.
Right.
the starting and the low and the top end, and of course, some are at the top, some are not, but they have incentive guides to get there through education, training, and those kind of
Okay.
things. So
Do you want me to explain the stars?
if you would like to.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
Philip, the bullet points or whatever, because I don't get the packet or whatever, so it'll come with the,
It will be on the, when she posts the agenda tomorrow, it's in there.
it's in there.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Article.
okay,
And it'll actually be part of the resolution moving forward. It'll always be there.
okay.
The little stars, we put 3 at the bottom of the document. It tells you what each star means. So 1 star is all the police, and it just says, how many hours they're calculated at. The 2 stars is the fire positions that they're completely, all these positions are calculated at different hours than what regular hours are. And then 3 stars are the positions that we have, but we don't have them filled, but we like to leave them up there as we
Yeah.
go, we may need them.
Yes,
And then we're
Right.
doing those, but that's extra duties from current staff taking on additional roles.
right.
Yeah.
One thing, and we get this question every year, you're gonna see that the fire department, their hourly is a lot lower than everyone else's, but they work 108 hours every pay period. So you can see that their low end and top end is comparable with the rest of the city.
Right.
So,
So for like reference, all admin positions work 80 hours every 2 weeks, and police works 86 hours, and then fire works 8 hours. So that's usually how pitches work.
All right, any other questions on that? That's a good report, though. That's
thank
easy to
you.
read.
Mhm.
Resolution repealing and replacing the employee handbook.
so you will have the handbook in your packet. I think, but what I hear you also have in your packet is the bullet points to the suggested changes by the handbook committee, and I'll go through them real quick if you want me to. So I put the bullet point and the page number. So number one is staying in suit with other governments. We're changing our holidays to 14 full, taking away that half on New Year's, so making it a full holiday, and other governments have done that. In there also, it says that a full-time employee is 37 and a half hours a week. We're changing it to 40 because our schedule is 8 to 4. We work 40 hours a week. The fire department, I'm deleting the 24/48 because again, we allude to they work 108 schedule. They're trying a schedule right now 48/72. They seem to like it. There's no more money or anything. It's still about those accumulated hours.
Yeah.
So just making sure we clean that up. Again, on page 39, deleting that half day in the chart. One thing that we hope you agree with, but want to give 5 working shifts to new hires to recruit. It's hard to wait a year before you get any time off.
Yep.
So we use that as a recruitment tool. And then the last thing, I want to delete, we have in there that you have 3 times to pass a certification exam or the employee has to pay for it. I've never really liked that. So I think before an employee gets to that 3rd time, the department head in the city looks at it and goes, where do we need to help them? How do we get them there? Instead of, I don't think that sends a good message saying you got to pay for exam.
Right.
No, let's get them there and for that 3rd time and help them give them the tools they need. So I hope we can delete that out of there.
That sounds good.
Mhm.
And you'll have my explanations in the packet too with the bullet points.
Some people like me, they need a little help.
Well, and in recruitment,
Yeah.
resolution authorizing the retirement of police K-9 gunner, transfer ownership.
Aw. The purpose of that resolution is to retire police dog Gunner from police duty and also transfer him to his former handler, who is Sergeant Michael Brian Gray. The city purchased Gunner in 2015, and he served as a drug detection and a police patrol dog. The police department believes that he's ready for retirement, and Sergeant Gray had requested to keep him. So the purpose of this resolution would be to retire Gunner, to give him to Mr. Gray, and then the city will enter into a contract with Mr. Gray that basically he will now own the dog. He'll be responsible. He'll assume all liability and responsibility for Gunner, and also he'll indemnify the city for any future.
Good going away gift to him as well.
We give him
And
a dog.
is he retired now already?
Yes,
Okay.
he'd just not be right. Brian's already taken his new job with the SRO. All right, change order to wastewater treatment.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Put it on the board.
So during the construction, the manufacturer of Veolia said that the MBR are only good for approximately 6 years and they'll be expensive to replace. So we recommended that we upgrade it, the MBR now. This will be an additional basin.
What is,
So basically, we're trying to replace this now or fix it up front so we don't have to replace it in 6 years. Bard recommended this approach, and we can have Dale explain it further
Yeah.
in
Hey,
a
will you put
second.
that on the screen, please?
But Bard recommends this approach. Bars issued an opinion of probable construction cost, saying that it would cost an additional 40 to 50,000. We do not have the revised bid from the contractor yet, so we can't present you a change order for consideration, but we don't want to hold up the contractor at this phase of the project. So we would propose that the city vote to approve a work change directive directing BH Craig to complete this part of the project. And that he'll explain what it actually is.
So what we have, if you look in the far upper corner, this is your headworks. and that encasement is a drum screen, and that drum screen is 2 millimeters. So anything larger than 2 millimeters, it captures. The membranes are good for anything 2 millimeters and smaller. So what you see in this pit under it, that's your stage 2 right after your headworks. And this is your anoxic zone, and the mixed liquor in there, and the mixed liquor is all of the things inside of that material. Your suspended solids are a little bit too big. They're a little bigger than 2 millimeters after we've done a sieve test. So what we really need to do is we need to put this to where we can recirculate it back to the drum. So if anything gets past our drum screens, we can run it right back through, make sure that we filter it. Because if you think about it like some really gritty, sandy type material, it's a little too big for the membranes, and it could potentially damage the membranes. So this basically takes that material, recycles it right back through the drum. So if anything passes through, we're good. Now in the future, this will be a permanent solution. We'll have the material once we get this job done. We'll have everything. So if we need it for a couple of weeks, we'll run it. We'll put the hoses together. Everything's done. And then when we're done with it, we'll disinfect and we'll put it up. And we'll always have the capabilities of doing this. So should anything ever get past the drum screens, we can handle it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
And while we're doing all this, do it right.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
do it Right.
And I think the big picture is to prolong the life of the expensive membranes.
Yes, the membranes, as you all know, on the water side, I think one skid train was around 123,000 to replace. Don't know exactly what these are, but we all know they can get expensive. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure we get maximum life out of these things.
I guess maybe I'm talking off base here. But the membranes or screens or whatever, like when it comes flooding, will they be easier to change out or anything, or?
No, so what we've got, if we have to change them out, we have a hoist and we can lift them up. We can pull them plumb out of the pit. And then you can change them. They almost look like radiators. These are square membranes
Right.
instead of round tubes. And they can just pull them out and replace them as needed. It's a little different.
I just remember, I guess in past, when somebody talked about, they talked about all the stuff, that come through there. It was unreal. It gets hung, in the
It
screens
does.
or whatever, causes y'all a bigger problem.
We have 2 screens. You got one at the influent well. It catches a lot of the big material. Then it goes straight to the headworks and gets everything bigger than 2 millimeters, which is very small.
Right.
And so our main goal is making that water as clean as we can before it hits the membranes.
Right.
Cool.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
it's
Dale.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's piping that allows you to clean it out so it doesn't destroy the membranes
Yes.
as quickly.
So everything goes to headworks before it hits the first basin. It goes to the drum screen, but if for some reason it gets past it, and it did get past it in this case, we can recirculate it right back to the headworks and then screen it, make sure that we're screening it. Because things happen and you will have this potential in the future. And this work just allows us to do this anytime we need to.
And us do it.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Updating borrower residential meter replacement.
Supposed to have all the bids from the banks today,
Okay,
so I
cool.
should have just talked to Corey about, so we'll just be updating the we'll do a new resolution, rescind the one we did last month. The comptroller's office had some issues with the terms,
Right.
and the original resolution we presented last month already did say that was contingent upon the comptroller's office approval. So we're gonna reference that resolution in this resolution tomorrow and send you all the new agenda, and then put in the new bank that has the lowest rate.
Good. Audit services.
I received 3 bids and 2 of them were pretty close, so I'll have all that for you all for Tuesday as well.
And I'll tell you what, oh, excuse me, go ahead, Mike.
No, I'm sorry. I was just is there anybody that y'all are?
The 2 of them were really good, and we were at one of our state finance directors meeting last week, and I asked MTAS, which one of the companies, just to get ideas of reference points of to 2 companies that we were leaning towards. They said we couldn't go wrong with either of them, and those were the ones that were the most cost effective. The third company is very expensive, so I wasn't even looking at that company. So
I think the one you're leaning towards gets a price for 4 years.
mhm.
The other
Yes.
one's comparable to for 1 year, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would like to know what we're gonna do for 4 years ahead of time instead of tying in the one that gave us the pricing for 1 year. They're actually like $2,000 or $3,000 cheaper for the first year. But they don't tell me what they're gonna charge me the next 3 years.
Next 3 years.
The company that's 3,000 expensive now is telling me what they're gonna charge me for the next 4 years, so that helps.
I've got a great friend of mine, Greg Howell. Y'all probably remember AC. His brother, and he's an accountant, and he sold the Blankenship, which was doing housing. And I got to ask him about both of them, and he said,
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, like I said, I
He did
mentioned it to other
29,
finance
yeah.
directors and stuff from the area, just to double check who use them and stuff, and people say you can go wrong with either of the firms, so.
all right. What?
Philip, do you have an update on East Merchant?
But I talked to Ted about it. He's checking prices of piping down on the pipe to get here. And then also, we're having issues down on Railroad as well, so he's gonna look at that, so we may be able to take care of both of them at one time.
Okay.
So he's looking at both of those.
And I
Saying
remember
that
you
two
saying,
birds with one stone.
yeah, that's good. I can't remember what you said about Aramine
I'm glad you
bathroom.
brought up, that's what I'm gonna tell you. So, we have received 2 bids, and that's good news. The bad news is that we were scared it was too close, and so we run it out like in 2 weeks. So it'll be on April's agenda, because our bid opening is
March 26th.
March 26th.
After the meeting.
We could have opened them today, but we didn't think we could get bids that quick, but we got 2, right?
I've got one,
One.
but there's been multiple people who have,
Inquired.
there's been more inquiries this time than there were last
We have
time.
one. So,
And we put some clarification language out there too. I think the way the engineer had put some of the gauges and things on certain metal roofing and all, they weren't the standard that everybody uses. So we went ahead and put that language out there when we did the rebid, because that's might have been the reason why people were like, it's kind of hard to get that material easily. So we went and changed some of that and put it back out there.
Is this out by the convenience center?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Definitely needs it.
Pam? Laura? Mike?
One thing I'd like to say, appreciate our police department. Was out doing yard work today.
With the bad heart.
We'll go there. But,
They got you in eloquence too.
yeah, tell me about it. But anyway, I appreciate y'all slowing the people down out there. I was out there and I saw several cars pulled over, so you can tell just from the day, you know how people drive out that way. I appreciate it, I really do.
Cool.
I know the people might not like a ticket, but I mean, you know, I get scared out there on the side of the road cutting grass sometimes, I do. Because they don't care, they'll get that close to you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think they do it on purpose, but again, I appreciate it. I do. Look at you laughing.
Downtown is coming well, folks. I don't know if y'all noticed what they did in the past week.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
But we had a meeting again last Thursday with them, and Larry, the guy with Adams, tells me, he said there won't be a piece of equipment sitting on the ground at the end of May.
Awesome.
Okay.
And then, I think Philip updated you on the bridge. Maybe that all gonna may kind of all come together at the same time, which would be pretty doggone cool.
Yeah.
May.
put it in the state of the city. I reached out to him. They're supposed to be setting the beams this month, mid-month, and then he said the next step was for the decking. Here's for 14 days, and then I asked him, well, what's next? And it's pouring the rails. So, and then I asked again, well, what is the expected completion date? He said something I'm not gonna say it out loud, so I'm gonna say Lake Spring, because, you know, we're all like, open up, but so I hate to say that it's gonna be sooner than that, but I'm not gonna say confident either. Lake Spring.
It's
Yeah,
spring.
but the
Whatever that
site will
means
be
to you.
open next
But
week,
let's think of it this way, it's a lot better than what, September or October?
October, what,
Monday.
Yes, it was actually supposed to be back open today, but the concrete didn't cure enough yesterday, so they wanted to have one more day, and we'll just find out in the morning if they told us if we can open tomorrow.
Out front.
Tomorrow will be
I don't
open,
know for sure when I get here.
yeah, because we were supposed to actually be back open today, but. they were
And the
not.
ladies have actually enjoyed working outside.
Yeah, they want to do it every Friday, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, can we set up outside every Friday if the weather's good?
And here's the last thing. I have a greetings card here from Sekisui. From the holidays. It was sent from somewhere in Japan.
Got it? That's why it took
Just
so long to
got
get
it. So you can blame the US mail for a lot, but looks like these, Japan's having the same problems we are. It's funny. 3.5 months later, you get it 4 months probably from the time it was sent, so
Well, at least you did get one.
we got one. That's right. All right, everybody have a great evening.
Thank
Thank
See you Tuesday if I don't see you over the weekend.